Hey, book club besties.
From Scrubs to Book Club, we're two burnt-out healthcare workers who love to yap about books. I'm Katie.
I'm Starr, and welcome to Aimless Attention Podcast.
Today, we're going to be talking about Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. This is Starr's favorite of the STEMinist series.
Because it reminds me of me.
I will say, spoiler warning for any of the books in the STEMinist series, but particularly Problematic Summer Romance, because there is a lot of overlap with these characters. And it's one of my favorite books, and I know I will not be able to not talk about it. So, just like, I don't know if I'll probably find some way to bring up Deep End, even though they're not connected.
It's connected by the author. So, you know,
she's connected by the author, but I would say
somehow.
The Not in Love to Deep End jump is not as obvious as the Not in Love to Problematic Summer Romance.
I can see that.
They're more connected through Problematic Summer Romance than they are, tangentially. So, so we meet Rue and Eli, who are our main characters. Rue is a chemical engineer who works at a biotech startup, Klein, and we meet Eli Kilgore, who is a part of a finance group called Harkness, and we learn later on that he originally was going to be a scientist. Hark was originally going to be a scientist as well. They were all in the same PhD program, and some shit went down. So Rue is a character who she struggles in social situations. She doesn't feel like she can read people very well. And she also doesn't like the energy it takes to put up a front to figure out how to be in those social situations.
Which is normal. Starr in her studies, because she loves them. I was actually reading that the more intelligent you are, the harder you have with other people. Mm-hmm. And not to do with because you're so intelligent that they don't understand you, but the fact that you're so intelligent that you genuinely can't think about what they would be thinking about, which was an interesting thought though, because does that just mean that I'm super stupid? Because I'm like hardcore, like I can walk in a room and be like, that person's dating that person, oh, they've been sleeping together for like 20 minutes.
I think that doesn't necessarily I'm already going to bring up, I mean, technically it doesn't have to be Problematic Summer Romance, but Maya Kilgore, Eli's younger sister, is an incredibly intelligent woman.
That's true.
But she's she's super social, super bubbly.
Yes.
So I think it's just like, yes, it has a little bit of like intelligence can be known to be associated more with that like type A personality or even neurodivergence.
Yes.
That we'll see, but it doesn't necessarily always equate to the same thing.
No, because I think like sometimes the reason for that is your anxiety levels are probably way higher and you're just not diagnosed. So you're probably got way more like every time you have a social interaction. I can imagine this because this is how your brain works. A lot of times people will say things and you never fucking forget it. I could be like, Katie, your shoes looked ugly that day. And she'll be like, I forgot. On August 8th, she said my shoes looked fucking
I'm
ugly.
like that with everything.
So could you imagine though if that's how your intelligence worked? Like my son is one of those people that can read and retain. I'm sure he can retain conversations too, but he retains really well.
Maybe we need him on the podcast just so he can tell us what the plot of the book was when we start talking. He'll be like, you idiot.
You guys are not even close. So like I was just thinking though, like he could easily make it to where like he remembers everything, right? So maybe that's what it is. So like it brings up social anxiety because like you're in the shower and all those thoughts are like, and then I said what, and she said, oh my god, and did she really say that? Did I really say that? Like was that really? So maybe that's her problem though. Like the intelligent level is so high that like
she's just overanalyzing everything at all times. And I think she even talks about, she's like, I look at them and I don't know what to do about the face that they're giving me or whatever else. It's just like, okay, cool. But I also like that she is confident enough in herself that she's like, I'm just not dealing with this. She's just like, I'm not going to devote my time to this. I've got Tisha and Neota, which I love Tisha and Neota. They're so funny because I think when Manami is like trying to look up Rue for Eli, like trying to find her on social media and all that kind of stuff, she doesn't have social media, but Tisha does. And I think Tisha's bio says something like, just trying to get Neota to follow me on Instagram or something like that.
Yes, because isn't she like the well, this goes back to the other one. Yeah. Did you have to have like a certain standard of social media before she'll follow you? Isn't that like a whole thing? Like, yes.
So, because Neota is such a funny character, but Neota is who they use for their legal advice all the time. It's Tisha's sister, right? So they're constantly like, Neo, to help us with this. And she's like, this is like, I'm a bankruptcy lawyer. Like, this is not what I'm interested in doing. Like, whatever. But she's constantly just like, ugh, I can't believe you're talking to me again. And Rue loves Neota. But those are really like her two people she relies on, and she lives by herself. And she also she uses a dating app that's only for hookups, and she's very specific. Like, these are my kinks. These are the things I'm not interested. I don't do repeats. I don't want to know like everything about you or whatever. Like, we're just meeting up for one thing.
This is what bars are for, people. I think these freaking dating apps are crazy. Okay, so I 100% love this story because this was me in my 20s. I was definitely, but it was definitely in the bar. They didn't have fucking dating apps. But I also, like, every time I read this, the whole time I was reading this story, like, I understood her, like, whole, like, no repeats. But I guess, like, I wish I was more her in the sense that, like, I wish I knew more what I wanted in the bedroom, where I could just be like, this is what I want. It's just one of those things that one of the things I love about Allie, oh my gosh, Allie Hazelwood, is that she, in her stories, her characters know what they want in the bedroom. They can tell you what they want. They're like, I want more tongue and less whatever else you're giving me. I am not that person. And I'm a huge advocate for you shouldn't be having sex if you can't talk about it, which is why I appreciate her books. But no, I'm like,
I also like that
can't talk about it.
For any characters that don't know what they want, they are paired with someone who's very understanding and willing to explore it with them.
True.
And it's always very consensual. With Rue and Eli, it's like it takes Eli off guard just how like clinical she is with everything. Like they first meet up, so they meet up at the bar, or the hotel bar, and he clocks her immediately, and he's like this, love at first sight. This is the most beautiful girl I've ever seen in my entire life. I need to be around this person. And then that's when Vincent shows up. I don't know, younger or older.
Pretty sure he's younger.
Younger. So her brother shows up, and he's just absolutely belligerently drunk, harassing her. And Eli shows up assuming this is like an ex-boyfriend. And he's like,
I mean,
get
he
away
does
from her.
come off ex-boyfriend-y.
Right,
like the whole, like, I thought it was an ex-boyfriend for a hot minute. Until, like, I think it was like when they got back to the apartment that you kind of figure out that it's not.
Yeah, when when they're driving back, I think she tells him kind of the story. Because they're I think it's in Indiana or something like that. Their dad owned a cabin out in the Midwest somewhere, and now they're arguing about what to do with it. And she's kind of like, I can't deal with this right now. I've got enough shit going on without you also causing more problems for me. And they're very estranged and stuff. And Eli's like, you need to get a restraining order on this asshole. And she's like, yeah, I probably should, but he's my brother, so like, what am I going to do?
Understand though, like the way he approaches her in the bar is like, if you're at the bar and like some stranger walks up to you and is like, hey baby, and you're like, no thank you, and they're like, hey baby, and you're like, oh my god, like, and it's very like, he's very aggressive and doesn't let up, like,
and he wouldn't leave. And so that is kind of the first little bonding time that Rue and Eli have. She's like, I'm not gonna sleep with you now, like this is just not my night. And her phone ends up dying because she spills San Pellegrino all over it. And she's like, you're not drunk, right? And he's like, I think it's better to be sober when I go into these types of scenarios. And she's like, okay, good. So he ends up, she sends a picture of his driver's license to Tisha, and then he drives her home. And one of the hallmarks of their relationship is they tell awful stories to each other. Like they tell their deepest, darkest stories of like horrible things they did.
Which I thought was cute because it was just the right amount of like, wait, like in one up you. Like, but it also had that like, how do I word that? It had that like, here, this will calm you down kind of like, I don't know. I think this is why I like this story, because I'm like, if I can find somebody that I can trade dark ass stories like this is what happened in my childhood, one up me on this.
No, I don't think
like, I think him and I would be like, that'd be my mate. You talk about mates, that'd be my mate.
Eli Kilgore's your mate. I
don't know about Eli. I'm saying like finding somebody. I didn't care for Eli.
I loved Eli.
I don't know why, Allie. I hate to tell you this, Allie Hazelwood. I picture all your fucking men blonde. Katie's
not Eli
like
Kilgore.
Not blonde, and I picture them all fucking blonde, blue-eyed, 6'6".
I think
giants.
Eli has blue eyes though.
Yeah, no, but I picture them all blonde, blue-eyed giants. This is what I picture.
So Eli,
other than Maya, who I picture dark-skinned, brown. Like I don't picture her I picture her like a gorgeous Hawaiian. I don't know why. Like I don't picture her
definitely
at
not
all.
Hawaiian.
Like I'm just saying, like. My descriptions, even if they describe it, my brain's like, No, that's not what I want. I want a tall. Maybe that's the problem.
You just want your type.
I want
for all
my
of
type
them.
to only be
It's like
who
I said,
I'm reading.
I said it in another podcast where I'm like, I just end up kind of picturing a kind of version of my husband if I don't have a clear version of it in my head.
Even if they give me a clear version, like I'm still like, because I'm pretty sure one of the stories she writes, she describes him just completely, like his whole body is described, and I'm still like blonde hair, blue eye. I think I walk up to Katie like every time I'm like, he's blonde, right? No, and I'm like, oh,
that was our biggest argument about.
100% see him blonde, blue eyed, 6'6". Okay. Blonde, blue-eyed, 6'6". Anybody watching that's Star's type.
That's Star's type. If you're
It's
interested,
gotta be. It's gotta be. I don't know why else I picture them that way. Like,
please DM us. I run our social medias. I'll screen you before I introduce you to
I
Starr.
don't know why I picture them that way. The whole time, even on the picture, he's got like brown hair, and I'm still like,
he does have lighter
he's
brown
blonde.
hair though.
Like, no, I'm fully blonde. Fully like.
I love how down bad Eli is though, like immediately. And this is like I was telling you earlier, I read Deep End first for my Allie Hazelwood reading order, which was not in order, and Not in Love was actually my second. Again, not in any type of order. I was just picking up random Allie Hazelwoods. But I read 2 very smut forward Allie Hazelwood books. They're probably her most smut forward Allie Hazelwood books because these are 2 relationships that are
super
set on the foundation of having sex first.
Which I actually enjoyed though, because it's more, I don't want to say it's more, but it just seems like it would be more realistic in the real world.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, if for their character specifically, I think Eli used the app just for like kind of a quick stress relief thing. And this was a regular thing like Rue did. She did it like once a month. She would
because hers was also a stress relief.
It was
like,
a stress relief thing.
Everybody needs that like quick release.
And she had like her rules were like very clear, and she had very clear boundaries, and she was a no repeats person. So when she has that whole thing happen with Eli at the bar, at the hotel bar, he like walks her up to her house to make sure she got into the house and locked it, or her apartment or whatever. And then he stays outside, but she kisses him on the cheek, and while she's doing that, she writes her number in on his hand. And she breaks her no repeat rule with
she
Eli.
already knew she was in love. She already knew.
And
yeah, I do remember that, because then when she did it, I was thinking, what the hell is she doing? Like, she could just reconnect with him in the app, right? That was my thought. Like, so obviously you had more to it than the bullshit of, I don't know. It crossed my mind, but 100%. This is the whole time I read this story, I was thinking that this is something I would do. Like, I am definitely a no repeat, which is part of my problem. No repeat, would totally hook up with you situation. But I get like how she falls in love with him. I get it though, like how the like situation, like even at the first sight, like situation, just because it's not, you can't have sex with people and not have feelings. It's almost impossible. Like,
no, but I feel like also, I mean, their first interaction is not sex, and they end up actually like kind of really deeply connecting because they do share those stories with each other. And then he's very polite with her, very kind, very caring. And so she's kind of like, well, maybe I'll meet up with him again because I actually really like this guy. And then the next day she goes to work at Klein. Everyone's buzzing because there has been this acquisition that's happening with this financial group, and they find out it's Harkness. So then they have Neota dig into it for them and everything. And they show up. She's sitting in a crowd, and on walks Connor Harkness, Minami, Sol, and Eli. And she's like, no. And Tisha's like, oh my God, that's Eli Kilgore, isn't it? And she's like, yup. And she's like, oh my God, you didn't have an orgasm last night. Because she's like, no orgasms happened. Like, nothing happened. And she's like, oh, he's here now. He is hot in person. And she's just like, oh my God.
Well, I mean, his description, like, geez Louise. Like,
he's a good looking man. He was also a hockey player, which also adds to the the
hotness.
The hotness.
the Katie and the freaking the skates, man.
Have you seen
Katie's like ice skates galore?
Have you seen the TikToks where the people go to a hockey game and they're like, I'm at the boy fish tank?
Oh my God, no. But hockey players are freaking, I love watching.
There's just like
hockey is one of those sports I actually could watch and not be like.
I literally was the other day, I was like, should I get into hockey? I don't know why it just like popped into my head. I think it was because I was reading this. But I was just like, should I get into hockey? Would I like hockey? Because my husband was watching football. And I'm like, maybe hockey could be like my football thing.
Oh, I love hockey because
granted,
it's way
I watch
more
volleyball,
violent for me than I like the violence of it. They like throw them into
maybe
the wall.
That's why you like hockey players is because there's like an aggression to them.
they're like
you're like
between the two of us, I'm the one that's usually like I like them.
You're like mean. Slap me around.
And Katie's over here like aggression, and I'm like I don't know. I never thought about it.
I think
like,
you talked about Rhysand when you first saw him in Akatar. You were like, yes, slap me around. You said that in Shadow Daddy.
Oh, I'm 100% positive I did. Well, okay, so the worst part is like talking about fucking slapping me around. I was telling my girlfriends yesterday we were driving, we were traveling again because I can't fucking sit still. We were traveling and I was like laughing and I was like, I just want a guy to like literally choke me out and take her behind. And they were like, I think the car halted for like a brief moment. Like my friend let off the gas and didn't know what to do. And then everybody in the car was dead silent. And then my friend pops up with, I'm sure we can find that.
Oh, okay. Quick question, because now I have to tie this into deep. Do you think that Eli and Lucas would be friends if they were the same age?
Eli and Lucas. Why am I not picturing Lucas? Deep end.
Deep end swimmer.
Because she's always bringing deep end back to this.
I just thought about it because they have very similar personalities in a lot of ways. Because I didn't think about it until I read read this book again. They both have very similar, like, they just want to, like, take care of her. They just want to show up. They'll give her the space that she needs. He wants to be in control when they have sex. Granted, Lucas is a whole other thing.
Do you think that people that are similar in that way are friends?
I don't know. That's why I was asking. I'm like, I don't know if they would be friends. Granted, I think Eli's little friend group is hilarious. Like, they are so
okay, but you're eliminating
funny.
The friend group. It's just the two of them
in
the real world.
But that's
would
why
they be friends?
I don't know.
No, you want to know why? Because boys don't do well with other boys that are similar to them. Boys tend to take better friends that are like their friend groups are always like too diverse.
That's what I was thinking, is that their friend group's so diverse, because they have Sol, who just is there because Manami's there, right?
Yeah.
They have Manami, who was a postdoc with them in the PhD program.
Yeah.
And she was the one who actually created the biofuel technology that Florence stole.
Yes.
But she was like a little bit older. She's just kind of like fun and light and airy. Mm-hmm. You have Connor Harkness, who's just like rah, 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 rah. And I love Connor. And then who's a little bit older than Eli. But I think Rue even makes a point when she's like looking at them all walking on stage. She's like, I think Connor's about the same age as Eli, but he's just prematurely gray. And I was just like, oh yeah. So he's like a couple older than Eli, and then Eli is, I think it was like 6 years, 6 months and 3 weeks or something like that. Like she knew from the driver's license exactly how much older than Rue Eli was. So he's about 6 years older than Rue.
Which it's like the perfect age. Not in like, you know, if we're going back to YA, that's too, the age gap is way too.
Yeah.
But like in this story,
well,
two consensual adults over the age of 18.
Yeah. Because I think that puts her at like 28 or something like that. Think or almost 30.
I think in the real world, 6 years is pretty, like, that's probably as like far as it should go. I think when you start to get 10, 12, it starts to get a little weird. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that I have not been, 20 and been with 40, so there's no...
I can't relate to that.
I can't put down anybody. I'm just saying in the book world. But I think that, I think the thing with Lucas, though, the reason why they couldn't be friends is I just think they're too much alike.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And then, I don't know. Guys that are, really good at taking care of you don't do well with other guys that are really good with taking care of women.
Well, that's why I was
because they need a friend that's gonna be the opposite of that. But my other thought too was on that. What if he started accidentally taking care of your woman without realizing he was doing it? Because that's his personality. He's genuinely here's your plate. And not in a sexual but as a guy looking at another guy handing somebody even if it's just food on the table, I could see that being.
The thing though is that I don't know about Eli necessarily, because we haven't seen him in a scenario where he would be jealous, other than when he saw Vincent and thought that they had previously dated. But that they hadn't even known each other at that point. So we didn't see him get put in a position where he would be jealous of someone that I remember. Lucas does in Problematic Summer Romance. Scarlett does.
She had the wrong.
I was like,
Scarlett. I had to fully I had to think about it. I was like, wait a minute, what book?
but I don't think that. I think Lucas would react the same way Scarlett does, because Scarlett is like, oh, this is funny, because Lucas, she's like, when Maya goes to like do the fake flirting with Lucas, she's like, isn't your girlfriend gonna care? And he's like, nah, she's gonna think this is hilarious. And I think Lucas would also do the same thing, because he trusts Scarlett so much, he would never believe that he would cheat on her or she would cheat on him. And I think it might be the same with Rue, but also because Rue is just so closed down to other people, I don't think Eli ever would be worried about it.
That's true. I don't know. I just think that men tend to be more like
Territorial.
Yeah. So it would be a harder, I don't know. Plus, you gotta have like a wide variety of friends.
Mm-hmm.
When you got people that are just like you, that's when you start like fishbowling it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that's true.
drop the keys, buddy. Let's go. I don't know.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I just don't picture it. I don't picture it.
I don't think they would be friends
why.
either, just because like you said, it would be like the same person hanging out. I saw a lot of similarities between the two of them.
Yeah, I did too. But I think that
except for there were little quirks here and there. But anyway, so she is at Klein. Eli's there, and she's like, oh no. And then she gets pulled in. So she had a lot of food insecurity when she was a kid. She has a lot of hard times with eating, so she can't have non-sit-down meals, and she also doesn't like being on a time frame. It like really stresses her out because she had so much food insecurity when she was a kid, and that has motivated her research, where she's working on the coating for foods for produce to keep them fresh longer. So she gets pulled into the office by Harkness, because all of the individual members are there to interview people, see how everything's going. They're looking for any small thing that shows that they're incapable of paying back their loan that they have acquired, because they're ready to take back the patent that Florence stole from them.
Yes.
And at that point, the audience doesn't know. Well, the audience kind of knows that. I think we get some of it from Eli and Hark and stuff interacting, but we don't get the full story.
I don't know do we know about the patent, or do we just know that they're trying to take the company back?
We just know they're trying to take the company back. Rue is distrustful of Eli because of it, and Florence is one of her best friends. So that's another piece of the puzzle that she's having a hard time with, because she doesn't have good friendships. And then when everything's going down, Rue really has to take a moment to be like, do I trust anybody I'm around? Because
she shouldn't.
Florence was lying to her. She felt like Eli was lying to her, even though Eli never totally lied to her. He just kind of, kept some company secrets, because if everything blew up on them, like everything would be destroyed. And Eli talks about, he was previously engaged to a girl named Mackenzie, and they broke up because he said he couldn't love her the right way, because she said that he would never love her more than the revenge plot he had with Hark.
Yeah, but thank God they broke up, because doesn't she ends up with like the best boyfriend or husband?
I think they end up like having dinner together and stuff.
Yeah,
like
so it ends up being like perfect. But I don't know. It wasn't even just a revenge plan. Like, like some people just get stuck, like in this is, I think we were just talking about this not that long ago about my son. People just get stuck in like a pattern of like just needing to do like. Plus, I don't know. Is he really? I guess my thought process was he really that attentive to anybody? Like, Rue is not the type of person that would need somebody to be attentive. That's not her personality. So some people would need the personality to be attentive. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Like, I need somebody that's attentive.
I think Rue needed an attentive person, not in the like, hey, we're right here, I'm right here with you all the time. She needed someone that would be able to be across the room from her and be like, I saw the twitch of her lips, she's upset. And then be able to take her and help her with those situations where she was in. Whereas, like, I feel like other characters would be like more like, we need to be right next to each other. I'm right here in your face showing you that I'm doing things. Whereas Eli was showing up for her because he knew that she needed that space between them. And he recognized that.
Like, she needed to know you were there but not be there.
Yeah.
No, I'm definitely the girl that's like, I need you in the room. Like, even if you're not interacting with me, I need to smell your presence in the room. Like,
and the thing with them is that their sexual attraction is like off the charts. And so they had an almost, and then they didn't go anywhere. And so then they start seeing each other around Klein, and they're like, we need to scratch the itch. Like, we both agree, well, one off, sweat it out, we're done. And so they meet up at the hotel again, and they like close the door, and she just immediately just like strips down and turns to look at him. And he's like, oh, this is like, okay, like this is happening right now. Okay, we got this.
Because she doesn't have the social cues to be like, oh.
Well, and she doesn't, she he mentioned earlier, it's a very clinical perspective she has about it. It's like, I am here, I'm going to get off, I will tell you how I want to get off, and then I'm leaving. Like, that is what this whole scenario is for. And she's very clear she doesn't want penetrative sex. That's like very not her thing. And that's like the one like big no-no she has.
I know, I forgot about that until you said it.
And so
and then I was thinking like, well, I mean, I get it. Like,
yeah, and we find out later it's because she's never orgasmed from it, and so she feels like she's just sitting there until they get off, and then she's like, cool, thanks for that, I guess. Like,
I mean, it's very uncommon for women to get off on penetrative sex.
Mm-hmm.
I think most people think that women do. It is not a very common thing. I think it's actually one of the more common things, the disbelief for women.
Yes.
Until women figure out how to do it, which you can get off with penetrative sex even if you think you can't. There's just a different technique you have to use.
It's very specific.
It's very much a different, I don't know. That's one of those funny things. I don't think that happened until I got married.
Mm-hmm.
That I was just like, oh shit, there's a real like. I was 100% her though. I was 100% like, this is fucking worthless.
But that aligns with Rue's experience too. So Rue, even I want to call her Rue after we talked about Crimson Maw. But Rue, even after, so she was in college when she first slept with someone, and everyone's like, oh my god, I can't believe he just left you. And she's like, that was perfect. I don't want him here. And so like, but that was all of her sexual encounters. She's never been in a relationship. So like she even mentions in her head, she's like, this is what it's like when someone learns your body. Like,
yeah,
you know, all of those experiences build up and you learn what you like with each other.
That's true.
And so Eli took the time to figure out, to watch her cues, to understand how her body worked. And then she's like, I don't want some guy to come in and think that they can fix me with their magic cock or whatever. And then he's like, later.
I mean, some of the books we've read, they do have magic cocks.
Well,
fucking
Eli,
elephant arms swinging around and shit. Like, I mean, you know, some of the books we've read over the last few months have been, holy shit. Like, are you kidding? That thing dropped and I was like, no, thank you.
Well, Eli does have a magic cock in the end. Cause he does. He makes a joke about it later.
But I mean, like, at a certain point, though, like, I guess that's one of the things, but she's older, too. So it's one of the things that I appreciate about, like, as you age and we have partners, you learn, or even with your partner that you've been with forever, you learn like, or you learn to like, you know, be like, I don't like that. Please don't do that again. I don't know. Like you learn to be more vocal about it.
Yeah. And I think they start off with very clear communication about everything, which is also good. So in terms of the sex, like I think everything else in terms of the relationship, not the best.
Good.
But it's not because Eli's not actively trying to have a conversation with her. She just kind of shuts it down all the time and is like, I'm not doing this. I can't believe this is happening. And again, she's battling the fact that this quote unquote hostile takeover is happening at her work, and she's afraid she's going to lose her patent and all of her stuff she's got going on.
Doesn't her friend tell her that that's like part of that chick that's like, I don't know why I'm blanking people's names right now.
Yeah, so Florence is actively trying to find any way to show that the company is solvent before the end of the quarter. So she was shopping around all of the patents she has that everyone's working on, including the side projects.
Yes.
She couldn't do it with the biofuel because that was the oh my gosh, whatever it's called for the loan. You know what I mean? The collateral for the loan. So that couldn't go anywhere. That was a part of the company being built. But the patent for the covering or the coating that Rue made was going to be off the table for a long time because Florence, you know, felt like she was a friend.
Yeah.
And once all of the stuff starts happening with Eli, Florence gets desperate enough and is like, you know what, screw it. I'm going to go try to sell this. So she goes to a competitor to sell it to them who would just scrap it, basically.
That's right. That's right. And then doesn't he tells her, though?
Yeah. So what happens is there's she ends up at the skating rink. So she was an ice skater and he was a hockey player, we find out.
Which is what makes it so funny.
And we find out she actually knew Maya because Maya, after her parents died, was crying at the rink next to Rue. So she did know who Maya was before she ever met Eli. So that's a whole other thing.
I was like, Katie's jumping ahead over here.
But so after they are at the rink together. He ends up, they have sex in his car, because he's like,
okay. This is one of my favorite parts because 100%. This is probably the reason why I love this book. It's like the only book that I can actually like truly see self in. Okay,
Yeah.
Sex in the car is the worst fucking sex ever. Okay, but why is it the sex that you have the most of? Like when you're like, especially when you're younger. Like why is that? Like it's the most uncomfortable. Like you could be in a hayfield and had better sex than in the fucking car, but for whatever reason, the car is where you always end up. Like.
I guess I didn't have sex until I was older, so I didn't really have a ton of cars. I can't.
Yeah,
Have I had car sex?
Oh my God, Katie, you're missing out. You're missing out on like you're not even in position. Your neck is cranked to the wrong way. One time Starr was in a different city with a different boy, and knock knock, and the police officer was like, "Excuse me, ma'am," and I was fully riding that man, and he didn't see him. He just saw me topless, like on top of something, and the guy I was with was fully, oh please God, hope that you don't ever watch this.
Oh my God.
Was fully like in my boobs trying to hide and pulling me forward on top of him, so all the cop sees is me, smutty me with no shirt on. And yes, I'm sure my son will watch this, and no, I do not give a shit. And so like I'm fully doing this, right? And he's like, I need you to get out of the car. And I'm like, I can't get out of the car. I am like fully engulfed in this situation. What the hell are you asking me? Then he sees my partner. Why is sex like, why do we do car sex? I want to know. I would like anybody to chime in on our social media, please, and let me know why we have car sex and think this is okay. And mind you, I was not in my teens. I was definitely in my 20s. As Katie's like, I was not young when I started having sex. I was in my fucking 20s, okay? We were too old to be having car sex. Why is it so tempting? I want to know. I literally read this story and was like, what the fuck? Like, you're 28 years old. There's a bedroom. We could pay for a hotel. Even him and I, we could have paid for a hotel. We were financially okay. We were just cheap. I don't fucking know. Like, why car sex is so exciting. I just fucking hate it. I'm
crying right now.
I hate car sex. It's like one of my biggest pet peeves. When I read that, I was like, how dare they? They're 28. Get a fucking room. The whole time I was thinking it, because it's the most uncomfortable sex. Even if you're riding,
I can
even
imagine
if you're
it's not
on top,
comfortable.
when the cop knocks on the window. What the fuck do you do? And it feels like an eternity when you're doing this, okay? When the cop is talking to you, it feels like this is going on for fucking minutes. It may have been 30 fucking seconds. It feels like an eternity. You were genuinely like,
Like, I don't know.
So then he realizes what is happening. I am being impaled by another human. And so he was like, all right, could you please put your clothes on and meet me out of the car?
Oh my God.
I have a lot of cop stories.
You do have a lot of cop stories.
I really feel bad for the cop though, because okay, we were in a school parking lot. A middle school parking
Starr.
lot. Look, you have no clue. I did not know this city. I literally saw an empty, not lit-ish parking lot, and we drove in, okay? Like, we were just trying to get to the nitty-gritty. I don't even remember why I went to that city, why we were even in that city we were in.
The amount of cop stories.
Dude, the amount of fucking how I walked away with not getting a ticket, not getting in trouble for being in a fucking school ground, because I found out years later you can't even pee on a school ground.
Yeah.
That's considered indecent exposure and
Yeah.
can be considered a pedophile. Like, maybe because I'm cute, guys. I'm cute. I don't know how we didn't get in trouble. Looking back at this, if you actually do watch this story and you remember this, how come we didn't get in trouble is what I want to know. I want to know why we didn't get in trouble. He just asked us to get our clothes on and fucking leave. He was like, could
Maybe
you
he's
please?
just like, I don't want to deal with this.
100%.
Was he an actual cop, or they're also real cops, but was he the school resource officer?
No, this was at night.
Okay.
This was like
during
super dark. It was like
Okay.
1 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, that makes it better.
Okay. No, but you can still, I heard you, even if you were like walking drunk from the bar. I didn't know this, but if you're walking drunk from the bar and you pee on like a school grounds, you can be considered, it could be considered like, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I guess because there could be kids there at any time.
Like
Right?
in the middle of the night.
1 o'clock
The
in the
parking
morning.
lot is empty.
Well, actually, you know what? When I was in 6th grade, I want to say, it was a big deal that if you like did everything you were supposed to for the year, you got to go to the 6th grade sleepover.
Oh my God.
And we had
there was no cars in the parking lot, ladies and gentlemen. Not a single one. Oh my gosh. No, that's traumatizing. I never thought about it, but I didn't know it was a school. It just looked like a empty building, and like it was kind of in a residential neighborhood. I don't know. It didn't look, I didn't know I didn't know the city. It was just a random place we were at. We had just wanted to hook up.
Now, the real question though is, did that prevent you from having more car sex?
God, no. Car sex just sucks, though. It's a very uncomfortable, it's the shittiest fucking sex you can have. You could have fucking laid on the gravel and had better sex and had rocks in your knees than car sex. It is the worst sex ever. I don't understand why we keep doing it thinking it's going to get fucking better. Like, I think car sex is just convenient because it's an enclosed and you feel safer.
Yeah.
Until the cop knocks on the window.
The cop shows up.
Buck naked.
Well, the cop doesn't show up at the rink parking lot.
No. But it really, every time I read this story, I was like, I got so many oh my God, Katie moments the whole time we were reading this story.
I think
I kept them to myself for the podcast just to make it that much fucking better.
That's amazing.
But yeah, no, it was this whole fucking everything that happens in this book.
You're just like, why did they write my life down?
I was like, damn, Allie, were we just in sync on this one?
She just forgot the whole part with the cop.
I don't know if it would have worked in her story because it was very embarrassing to have to get dressed in your car and putting your shirt back on.
To be fair, though, they do deal with a legal situation.
I mean,
so Eli hops out of the car to throw the condom away. Good job, always having safe sex, you two. It was kind of nice to see a couple having sex, and it's not just like, it's fine, you can come in me. You know, like
on my titties.
It happens on every single one where they're like, they had STD testing and stuff. Like, he even asked when they started to hook up and she went down on him and he's like, do you want to use a condom? And she's like, I know your STD test is fine. But when they actually have sex, or penetrative sex, he puts a condom on every time. And so that was, I like when they put that kind of stuff in books because I feel like it's actually more realistic. Because
I truly believe it's realistic.
Because most of the time, like, you read these books and it's like, they've been together for 2 weeks and they're like, oh, I don't have a condom. They're like, it's fine, I'm on birth control. And you're like, you're like, okay, but like, you don't know anything about this cowboy that you met 2 weeks ago. Like,
I was thinking that. I was like, so you're not gonna have the real STD, but you might get an STD.
And it's like, so yeah, I like that. But she finds Florence's deposition in his glove box at that time. This is like skipping over a bunch of stuff. We'll go back.
I was trying to figure out like.
But she finds Florence's deposition in there, and it was because Florence told her, I don't know these people. Because they're like, oh, you went to UT, or you were a professor at UT. Yes. Were they there at the same time? She's like, I don't know. There's a lot of people at UT, just blows it off. And then they're like, well, why the fuck are they like all over this? And then Eli doesn't tell her because he's like, well, I can't. It's their best friend. Like, I can't do this to her. And she ends up opening the deposition, and they're like, when did you meet Connor Harkness? And he's like, oh, Connor was a PhD student in this lab, and then Manami was a postdoc in my lab, like all of this kind of stuff. And she talks about every person that's in this. And then she's like, she lied to me. And he's like, and she's like, you didn't tell me. So she runs away. She's like, I can't deal with this right now.
Yes.
And then
I don't know if I could deal with that right now.
No.
Like, you have a lot of mental, like, that you have to think about, like this person that you believed and were friends with and has your patent, like, because in the situation, she doesn't actually own it. Like, there was no actual signatures. It was just her, like, them agreeing that it would be hers or something.
So she had a contract she signed that said she would own the patent at the end. But it was it was never ratified by the board.
That's what it was.
So then the contract was null.
That, like,
and so Nyota found that out. So what happened, there's a ton of stuff that happens, but she ends up going into Florence's office and getting all the files she's been refusing to hand over to Harkness. And she, I was just say Hark, but handing over to Harkness, and she gives the thumb drive to Eli. Yeah. And then she asks if she can stay with him, and that's when she walks the dog, and like she stays overnight and all that kind of stuff. And that's when Eli gives it over to Hark, and Hark's just like stoked. He's like, we have everything we need. And Manami and Soul were like, you need to sit down, Eli. And Hark's like, we got everything we need. And then they're like, Manami's like, in the contracts to show that she doesn't own it and she's trying to shop it right now. And Nyota had already called her that morning when she was driving away to tell her when she was looking at the contract that it was never ratified by the board, and it's totally not her patent.
Yeah. As Katie was talking, all I kept thinking was the fucking dog.
Yes. So the giant
dog is like the best thing. And Katie's like still on the conversation about the correct part of the book. And my brain was like, the dog, Katie, the dog.
I already had a seed in my head to talk about the dog because, like I said, I was re-listening to this, and goes into his house for the first time, and she says, and I was mauled by a 300-pound grizzly bear, is what she said.
She does. And my brain was like, it should have been a fucking horse. Like, it should have been like a, like
a miniature horse
coming at me. That's all I picture. It's this big slobbery, like.
You know who I picture is Max from The Little Mermaid. Like, that's who I think is tiny.
I picture, oh my God, that's fucking hilarious. My mom had a dog like that called Bubbles. Yeah, they call that dog
that's
Bubbles.
Such a funny
They
name.
showed me pictures and I was like, oh my God. That's literally my first thought was that damn dog. I always picture like like not a Great Dane. What's the other one? I had one forever. My brain just completely, I am super not doing great today on the thought process. The, Bull Mastiff. I have a bull. I used to have Bull Mastiff, and they're like huge dogs. Not like a Great Dane because they're tall.
Yeah.
But a Bull Mastiff is like more like raw.
big.
So even though they're tall-ish, they're like more build. That's what I picture.
Okay. I don't
Just
remember what he's
like
described.
Shitty.
Like.
I don't remember either. But just like a shitty big ass dog coming at me, and I was just thinking. And the fucking dog's name was Tiny.
His name's Tiny.
I just love the fucking name. I was like,
and they
yes.
don't have like. She's like, I don't spend time with animals. Like, I don't know what to do with this.
She's like, plants die around me. Like,
no. Plants don't die around
I know,
her.
but
She's
I'm
amazing.
saying, like, that's how, like, she literally was like, it was like literally like, this is gross. Why is this? Why is this coming to me?
And she does end up falling in love with Tiny in the end because she when she comes to stay over after the thumb drive thing, he's like, we're gonna go for a walk, and she's like, I don't think you should trust me with this. He like puts the leash on her hand and she's like, I don't think I should be in charge of this.
He's got a whole thing of like, I will make you love my dog.
Yeah, and so she does end up falling in love with Tiny. We do find out in Problematic Summer Romance, she's talking to Maya, and she's like, you know, I'm so grateful you're my family now, and you're my second favorite person. And she's like, above Tiny? And she's like, I want to redo my statement. And she's like, I'm third on the dog. So like Rue absolutely falls in love with Tiny in the end.
Love about the dog situation is that I don't think that people realize, but men that can take care of another living thing, including plants, is worth keeping. Because most men, if they can't keep themselves together, cannot keep a plant or an animal together. I just think that was really sweet. And the fact that the dog was just like, I don't know, tiny.
I
His
love
name was
also,
Tiny.
so Eli.
And he can cook too.
We
forgot about the cooking.
Max,
she talked about the wife or girlfriend.
Mackenzie, it was an ex fiance. Was a chef, and she taught him how to cook a bunch of stuff.
Yes.
Like there's one night where everyone comes over for risotto.
Yeah.
And so she stayed over, and she ended up like they like slept together like over and over and over again. They screwed each other from.
This is another one of those
morning.
things I think that I was thinking like was 100% like this is still me. Like
and the doorbell goes off. And Eli's like, no. And she's like, are they going to go away? He's like, they have a key, so they won't go away. And she's like, okay, well. And he's like, okay, just come down whenever you want. And she's like, do you want me to go out the window?
Birthday!
It's his birthday.
I forgot about this. His birthday present was in his bed, okay?
Yep.
He did not need them to come over. That damn them ruining everything.
But he was going to make them risotto on his birthday. And then he's like, I want you all to leave. And Hark's like, I bought this wine specifically to go with this risotto.
Right? Like they're all butthurt about it. Like, how dare you not cook me dinner?
I just love all their interactions because you really just have Hark just constantly being like this grumpy dude. And he just like says things like rah, rah, rah all the time. And then Minami, again, is just like the light, airy thing. Like at one point, she talks about at the very beginning when they're all hanging out having beers that Florence asked her to meet with her. They're like, well, why would she meet with the rest of us? She's like, I don't know. I guess they think she thinks I'm the weak link or something. And then Eli's like, well, they've never seen you open a jar of pickles, I guess. And then she says, yeah, she doesn't realize I'm the first one to throw someone under a lawnmower.
Oh my God.
And then they're like, well, are you going to do it? And she's like, no, I'd rather drink battery acid. Like, I'm not spending time with this person.
God.
But the comments they make to each other are so freaking funny. And then Minami, at one point, she and Sol take an entire week off. So they're married. She and Connor were, he proposed to her. They'd been together for 10 years. She said no. So everyone thinks
gets explained in another book.
Yes. Everyone, well, I'm going to talk about this in a second. Everyone thinks Connor is still in love with Minami at this point. We meet, Maya makes a comment. This is when we get Maya at the kitchen table or kitchen counter.
Yes.
And she's like, hey, how's Hark doing? Or how's Connor doing? Because she calls him Connor, not Hark. And he's like, he's fine. And she's like,
Okay, nobody wants their sister to fuck around with their friends.
He's like, and I think it's a felony, so no. And she's like,
I forgot about that.
And she says, it hasn't been a felony for multiple years, considering I'm 22. When we meet problematic summer romance Maya, in 4 months, she is turning 24.
Yes.
So she is just barely, she's 22 in this point. She's almost turning 24. So the events that happen between the beginning of Not in Love to the epilogue is 1 year time, because they get engaged. There's another year of them being engaged, and then problematic summer romance happens. So 22-year-old Maya had already been talking to Connor for a year at this point.
Yeah, I actually forgot about that, and I remembered looking at that going, are you fucking kidding me? How did we miss it?
Well, you don't. I know, because she they talk about that Maya has this childhood crush on Connor.
Yeah,
and
they
stuff.
do, but it's like, how do you miss it? Because when they interact with each other. He's just cold to her.
Yeah, he's very just closed off. They assume,
but that's his personality. So why are you missing it? The fact that he
Exactly.
spoke words to her should have been the fucking instinct of like, oh shit, they're together. Like, I'm usually quick.
The way
on
that
but
Maya
this one
interacts
did not,
with him. No, but it's cool to go back and listen to it, because I wonder when Connor's all sulky, if that's the time when he calls and is like, I just wanted to hear you exist. Like, those little moments, throughout Not in Love, I want to know where Maya was, and that all the flashbacks that they had, in which parts they were at, because I'm so invested now in this. But that's the first inkling we get that Maya's into Hark is when she says, oh, how's Connor doing? And he's like, he's fine. It's also a felony, blah, blah. And then she's like, oh, she's like, I don't want it. He's like, oh, he says he doesn't do relationships. And she's like, that's fine. I don't need a relationship. And he's like, don't say it. And she's like, I just want to use his beautiful former rower's body. And he's like, you said it. Eli's like, oh my God. So Maya is another piece of the puzzle. She is his younger sister. She ended up, her parents died when she was 11. Eli was a lot older than her. And he ends up having to take care of a preteen all of a sudden. They were never close. He didn't spend any time with her. He had no time. He was working multiple minimum wage jobs. Their house got foreclosed on.
Aren't they they're 10 years?
Something. So Hark is 15 years older than Maya, and I think Eli's 2 years younger than Hark. So I think it's 12 or 13 years.
Okay, because I was like, it made sense.
Yeah.
Because he goes off to college. Okay, yeah, because she's 3 or 4 when he goes off to college. She was really young when he left. So it makes sense. I have to be honest with you, though. It's not weird that they don't have a relationship, because that's a huge age gap.
No.
That's you're almost old enough to have your own child at that point.
Yeah, and Eli...
Not saying that you should. I'm just saying it's not unrealistic.
No, but Eli fully admits he was not ready to have a kid at that point.
No, not when that's a preteen.
No.
Not when that's coming in already with attitude.
No, and she's got attitude, and her parents just died.
But I'm just saying, they come in hot, and you're just shit.
And she went from having doting parents who were really sweet with her, which were not Eli's experience.
No, he did not have that.
She had a very different experience with her parents, and then she gets out of that situation, and all of a sudden she's with this adult she doesn't know very well. It's her brother, and he doesn't want to be her dad at this point. And he has no time to take care of her.
No.
Because he's just trying to stay afloat to put food on the table at this point. So it's not until everything goes down in their PhD and Hark goes to his dad for the capital to make Harkness and they start buying up biotech companies and doing all the stuff that they end up doing to make a ton of money, that he gets financially stable. So there's a ton of history he has with Maya, and they're at the point where now they have a good relationship and everything.
Because now she's old enough to understand all the shit.
She's an adult. She's
all the shit he's doing while she's in college. She's like, I see how hard it was, and you'll pay for my college. So holy shit, it must have been even harder for you trying to pay for it and do all of these things.
Yeah. So it was cool to see
the real world.
The real world, but I liked that. The Easter egging with Maya, I was screaming about. It was literally, it's one of my favorite books. Like I said, I love Maya and Hark, and I think they're two very interesting characters. And so seeing kind of
she loved Maya and Hark, and I loved Eli.
I love Eli and Rue too, though. But again, I like that Rue ends up kind of becoming a part of this friend group, not necessarily realizing it. And so she she doesn't like eating around other people because she has all those, problems
so
with food.
I actually really appreciated this because this is a real thing. And I also appreciated the thing around food because this is actually something that they say to do in order to understand like the nutrients you need for your body. Because what happens, especially in Americans, I don't know if other countries are this bad or not, but I know we are as a country. We are grab and go people. Yes. We are like, the faster the food can get to my face, the happier I'm going to be. But they actually suggest, like, even if you're by yourself, which I can't fucking do, sitting down, putting your plate together, and eating, and being conscious of the eating.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, that is a huge thing for me. I think the first time I ever heard of it, I must have been like in my 20s, because, it's just a fast, like, that's just how it's always been. Like, lunch is 30 freaking minutes. That's not very long. 30 minutes does not last long when you're like, I need to eat food. So, yeah, so it was really interesting to think about that. And the whole time she was talking, we don't think about it. Like the starving children in America, not just across the world. We don't think about it. And the fact that, like, she brings it up in a nonchalantish way that makes you feel like, oh yeah, it's fine. I really appreciated that she touches on shit that, like, Allie Hazelwood's really good about this. She touches on shit that you don't think about, and then you read it, and it's such a nonchalant way that you're like, you're not hurting. Like, you're not like, oh my God, that poor child. You're like, oh.
It's not a pity thing. It's a part of what shapes the characters.
Yeah, which I really I love her writing in that sense. Like, it was a really interesting way to make us realize, and it's a really big deal that we just have kind of lost the art of sitting around the table and remembering to, like, pass the bread.
And I think with Rue especially, her food insecurity not only came from, like, steady not being sure if they would have food.
Yes.
Her mom was not a very stable person.
No.
And so she was constantly having a job, not having a job. So they had times where they had a fully stocked pantry, fully stocked fridge, and they were doing great. But then she lived in constant fear of, like, what happens when it's empty again? Like, when is mom going to not have money to pay for food?
Yes. So, and that's why we remember that her brother is younger, because she would go to her friend's house and get food and bring it home. And then when she left to go to school, he was stuck and he didn't know what to do about it because she had always done it for him, which I can't even imagine having a situation where you're the parent child, which is another reason why they bonded too, though, because they were both the parent-child situation where they didn't know how to raise their siblings, which, again, these are things that, like, when you're reading this story, the story is so fun and so loving and upbeat that you're not realizing, like, hey, look, she just sprinkled in something fucking traumatic that any other person would be like, holy shit. But you're reading the story and you're just like, oh, this is so cute. Like, oh my God, she fed her brother. How? Holy shit, she fed her brother. Like, I don't know. The whole time I was reading it, I was thinking, wow, Allie Hazelwood did a great job of not giving a pity party. Yeah. But teaching you 100% what the real world looks like.
And I like that Rue went forward and was like, okay, how can I make this so that other people don't have to suffer the way I did?
Yes.
And so that was her big motivation. I think people don't realize. I thought it was a cool spotlight on engineers. I learned this because of the college I went to was very. It's an engineering college. It's a
not a trained
science engineering. Not a trained engineer. Although
my kids
you
always,
could be a trained engineer.
No, but my kids always assume that that's what an engineer is, and I'm like, no, baby. There's so many more. There's so many more engineers in the world.
But I didn't realize. I had a roommate who was a chemical engineer, and I didn't even realize. You think like mechanical engineering, like we're
chemical
gonna go
engineers
build
really
stuff.
big in Texas, so I do know about it.
And it's huge where I went to college because the chemical engineering, and it's cool because there's like it's food science. Like you're like, wait, food science? Like that's stuff I never even thought about before I was in college.
The sugary of the sweetness of the food. Do you like salty food? Did you know that the air quality into food that they implement into it will actually change how you feel about it? So many freaking things. Well, Starr's is huge on like studies.
I always
like,
thought that was so interesting.
You're gonna find out Starr's not as dumb as she looks.
Like, you don't look dumb.
Well, no, because people are always like, "Wow, she actually has a brain that actually works." No, but I really thought it was fascinating. Food science is interesting in the sense that like all of our food is engineered for us to crave it. Like people literally, that's their job is to make you crave it. Isn't that crazy though? Like the texture, I would have never put this one to thought. The texture of food. Never thought about it. Like the reason why we like crunchy vegetables is because we like the crunch. And I was like, never occurred to me. Like, I don't like my vegetables cooked. And I was watching this thing and I was like, I feel attacked right now. But like, chemical engineering is an interesting, that's why I said Texas is huge with it, because they have a ton of different.
And they went to UT.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was cool because Allie will spotlight different
which
different
I find
types.
fascinating.
We physicists a lot. I've noticed there tends to be a lot of physicists. We
Isn't
also
that
get,
what she's known
she's
for?
in neuroscience.
Neuroscience.
But we do get a couple. So Maya's a physicist. Oh my gosh, what's the girl from Love Theoretically? She's a physicist. And then we get some biology people, and then this is engineering. And so Eli, that was the other thing. Eli, at the beginning of the book, Rue doesn't know that he has any experience in science. She can see that he had an undergrad degree in finance from his LinkedIn page, but there's no doctorate listed. So she's like, that's weird. There's no, he doesn't have his, oh my gosh, what's the degree that they get for business?
A master's?
No. I'm thinking MBA. Master's in Business Administration.
I literally, I swear to you, and if you're listening to this, I'm staring at her stupid because my brain was like, I was thinking an MBA, but I thought you were looking for the word master's. So I was, because my son wants an MBA. So I was super confused. I was like, I said the right word.
You're technically not incorrect. It is a master's.
No, my son wants an MBA, but my brain was like, yeah.
Yeah, so
master's.
he never got his MBA. So she's like, that's kind of weird. But so he got his undergrad degree in finance, and then he went into a PhD program.
This is like 100% what my son wants to do.
So she's in the lab, and that's when he corners her and is like trying to get her to like go out with him, talk to him, anything. And so Jay comes in, who's her lab assistant, and he's like, I'm like so screwed up. Like they need this paper done, and like blah blah blah's on my ass and stuff. And then Eli's like, I'll record the data. It's fine. And they're both like, how do you know how to record lab data? And he's like, it's fine. And then she's like, oh, he knows it. Like, this is another thing that makes her turned on. She's like, he knows his way around a lab. This is good.
Every story that she writes, they know their way around. Well, no, it's not true. Mm-mm. Problematic Summer Romance, she does not.
Hark does not have.
They do not go into that.
They don't go into the lab, but they're also.
The other 4 books she does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
But they get caught kneeling down to grab a pipette tip together with their hands touching. And that's when Florence and Jay and I think Tisha even show up, and they're all like, oh. Tisha's like, are you going to fuck him or not? She's like, you guys just need to have sex. And so that was when they were like, all right, let's just get this out of our system. And then it's not. This is also,
We're all over the place because we're
back to the beginning of the book again.
Sex.
Here's the other thing, though. I was impressed that you did like this book as much as you do, because you hate edging.
I truly hate edging. I think that's a bullshit fucking thing, and anybody that does it is fucking ridiculous. You know what it is? I have so many words for this. I don't like not being in control, which is why I think a lot of people like edging, because it gives them that sense of like, I've lost control. Like, yeah. I fucking can't. I don't give a fuck. I will stab a bitch in the freaking back if that should ever happen to me. I would be like, just literally like, I don't know what it is about it. I think it's the fact that like, I want to do what I want to do. Don't fucking tell me otherwise. This is the only thing I can come up with. My psychological thought on this is that Starr just needs to fucking be in control.
You're probably not wrong. I think you've had a lot of out of control things in your life.
100%. So. My life is spiraling. Don't take away the one thing I enjoy. Yeah, I don't know. I think and it's also, even in experience with my husband, ex-husband. I think I call him my husband a lot. I don't think I ever say ex.
You say ex-husband a lot.
Do I say ex-husband?
Yeah, you say ex-husband.
I thought about it the other day. I was like, do I say ex-husband?
Yeah.
I'm like, but even when I was married, I had hella trust for that man. I still think that he was pretty decent in some ways. I could never let that shit go. No, that would never happen. I don't have the trust for you to like, I don't fucking care. I don't think it's a great idea. I hate that people are like, this is amazing. Good on you. Do you? I am not sex shaming. It is not my thing.
Well, because Eli's a little nervous to tell her what he's into, because he likes power exchange. He likes being in control.
I don't. I have to be honest with you. I don't like the power exchange in sex.
Yeah.
Unless I'm the one that's in power.
See, that's the problem why you have such a hard time with some of these books.
Let me be your madam and we'll talk.
Because Rue's very, very specific about what she wants to have during sexual encounters. And so he's like, she needs control. So there's like, he's like, I'm going to scare her away if this is what I want.
I think a lot of people end up with partners that they think are exactly that, and they're not.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people end up, because people come in real strong in their relationship. A lot of people think the same thing, like with men tend to think, oh, men are like really need to be like strong held. Most men are more than willing to be submissive in a relationship. In the bedroom. I shouldn't say in a relationship. In the bedroom. I don't think it's as common as people think. I don't think your personality outside of...
No, I think they're two very different things.
Because if you met me in real life, you'd be like, Star's controlling? Like, what the fuck? Like, I think I'm controlling in my own person. Like, I'm pretty chill. Like, laid back, tell me what the fuck you want me to do. If we're at, like, somewhere and you need something done, I am totally willing to be told. But, like, no, I'm not. In the bedroom. Fuck that. I'm 100% not that fucking person in the bedroom. So that's why I think it's interesting. I think people misread people.
Yeah.
Because sex is not the same thing.
Well, and I think they do a ton of exploration with each other.
Yes, which is a big thing. I think people need to like get to know your body.
Mm-hmm. And that was something, again, Rue didn't realize that somebody else could learn her body. And so that, influenced how her sex preferences changed as well, because, things were a little bit different.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Rue gets edged quite a bit, and she ends up getting edged.
I forgot about that. She's wrote it in the book now. I'm going from a 5 to a 4.5 in my head. Okay.
Oh,
no. I seriously still think it's a 5. I just literally was thinking about it, and I was like, why don't I remember that? I must have like glossed over it. I must have been like shiny bright stars.
I think it happens twice that it's like on page. And the second time is because Rue kept saying, this is just sex. We're just fucking. And Eli says, she's like, please let me come. And he's like, I'll let you come if you tell me this is just sex. And she's like,
I don't know. I think
And she can't say it. And so then he's like, okay.
It's not
he's like, she's like, I don't want to say it. And he's like, okay, well then let's introduce a third option. And so he's like, okay, tell me why this is not just about sex. And so she kind of describes like that she feels more for him. She's not ready to say that she loves him yet. And so
those are big grown up words.
It's hard for her. She doesn't know how to process those emotions. And she has a lot of other shit that she's dealing with at that time. Like, and so she is like, I know I feel something for you. I know this isn't just sex. I know I want to be with you, but I don't know what beyond that it is.
That's what I hate about these stories, though. I hate you can't just have sex. I'm sorry. Just having sex is not a real thing. Every partner leaves a mark, whether it was just sex or not. There's some feeling comes with said partner every time, whether it really evokes like a whole love story or it just evokes like something in your body is immediately like it leaves a mark. It doesn't, you can't just, I don't know why every time they write these stories they're always like it's just sex and you're just like no it's not. Like you're gonna remember this in a different way.
Part of that is because we're going into it knowing it's a romance that they're reading, but
this is true. Everyone ends in a happy ending. I think that's what I don't like about these books is that they always fucking end up together. Even when they break up they end up together.
What I'm hearing is that we need to read a love story.
But they don't end up together.
Which is, so love stories, they just have romance in the plot. They don't guarantee a happy ending. Whereas romances guarantee that a happy ending occurs, which is why
a happy ending. I do. There are times where I need it. But, like, I don't know. There's times where I need them to be like, she died in a car accident. They didn't end up together. I don't know. Like, it's really fucked up.
I want you to read One Day.
One Day?
One Day.
I feel like now it's going to be crying on the way to work.
That one made me cry. I'll read that one too.
Cry.
I cry when I'm happy. I cry when I'm sad. I cry when I'm angry.
Starr just yells.
Yeah, no, I cry all the time. So Rue finally like accepts that there's something else. Obviously, Eli's in love with her, and Minami is like telling him like, I know you want to go for this. She's hard to deal with. Like she's not an easy thing to be around. But he's like, if you want her, like go for it. And so Minami kind of convinces him to do that, and he ends up going to, after we find out all this stuff about how Florence is trying to sell her patent. He's like, in his mind, he's like, I don't care about anything else. I'm getting this patent back for her.
Yes.
And Hark's like, no, we've spent a decade trying to get this back. I
forgot about this.
He's like, you are not fucking this up for us. And Minami and Soul are kind of like, well, like, and so they end up making a deal to where Rue gets her patent back, And I think they own like 60% of the company. She owns like 5%. They also have 4 seats on the board or 3 seats on the board, something like that. So they have a ton of control over this company.
Yes.
They don't personally have that the patent anymore, or like they originally wanted, but they do get some sort of kind of retribution afterwards. But the end goal was to get Rue her patent, and they end up getting it. But when she comes in, she's going to go talk to Florence after everything happened. And he grabs her and is like, don't talk to her right now. And she's just like, why? And he's like, I'm not going to be the one to tell you how to make like your coding. He's like, this is my thing. I do deals all day. Please let me do this for you.
Yes.
And she's like, I don't understand why. Like, why would you ever want to do this for me? And he's like, because I love you.
Because men always love them first. We had this in another podcast. Men know before women do.
I love though, but I do love when books have the woman figure it out first. I think there's kind of a different.
I like when the women find it out, but they never say anything.
Yes.
That's what I think a strong woman.
Like when they sit with it and they just like brood over it.
And let you figure it out.
Love it. But yeah, so that's when Eli says, I love you. And she, because first of all, she shows up to Harkness. This is all out of order.
Katie's all out of order because I was just thinking we screwed up and went off the deep end on a different thing that I was going to bring back.
Oh my God. No, she shows up to Harkness and she's like, I want to, this is before she knows everything. She read the deposition and then she wanted to talk to somebody else. So she shows up to Harkness and says she wants to talk to Hark.
Yes.
And then Eli's like, Hark's not here. And then he's upset because she didn't come to him. She came to Hark.
Because she was trying to like go around him. But just so you guys know, I was going to bring this up earlier too. This is just book club, man. We're just enjoying the book. We loved it. We had stories that we thought were fun. If you're watching this or listening to this, no, the book is not fucking in order. And no, we do not care. This is half the fun of getting to enjoy Katie and Starr. Not being concerned about what order the book is read
the
in.
weird fucking
the
comments
way
we have.
The way we describe the book is nuts. This is why you're supposed to read it yourself. So you get to kind of see how fun it is.
I think the problem is that my brain is like, I start in one spot and then by the time I start talking, because my words are slower than my brain, I'm like 15 steps ahead already.
Not only that.
And then I'm jumping subjects so quickly and I forget why I was even at step 1 to begin with.
Star's always got like some fucking random ass comment to throw in and throws Katie the fuck off. She's laughing so hard she's forgotten the whole point of the story. She was like, I was on topic, and then Starr threw some random shit, which is why it's aimless attention, because we are not paying attention. But you were telling a story and I couldn't stop fucking laughing in my head thinking we forgot to go back to Connor and it's not Soul. What the hell's her name?
Maya?
No.
Oh, Minami?
Minami. I don't know why Soul popped in my head. They get pregnant and Connor.
No. They don't get pregnant. They had a pregnancy scare.
No, they get pregnant because they have the baby in the second book.
Soul does. So Minami and Soul together. Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. But we forgot to go back to that because you had made the comment
that they were sick for a week and he had to take over.
Yeah, but I was also going to say you had made the comment that everybody was concerned that he was still in love with her. But that's not really how he genuinely, he cares for her as a human, but he's not in love with her. But people are so concerned because when she gets pregnant, doesn't everybody's like still like hiding it from him?
Everyone's like, oh no, Connor's going to find out and he's going to be upset.
Yes.
And Connor's literally like, I've been in love with Eli's little sister for at least a year.
But in my head, I was thinking like we didn't actually broach that part of the conversation because I was thinking like, oh my God, Katie forgot that. Like that was a big thing because everybody was like scared to like.
So another side note. Connor is all broody after something that happens. We don't know what exactly happened. Again, I want to know what the interaction was with Maya when he's broody like this. Eli's like, why don't we go to the gym? So they go to play pickleball and racquetball, whatever. And 2 women are at the court and Connor's like, fuck this. And he's like, no, it's fine. And the women are like, do you just want to play doubles? And so then they do. One of them is a pharmacist. I was just like, oh, look, we have representation in an Allie Hazelwood book. Look at us go. Of course, none of the characters end up with that pharmacist, but I just liked that they were just there was a pharmacist there. I was like, cool, look at that. I think her name was Emma or something. And
she might become a character. You never know. There might be an Emma book coming out in the next couple years.
A small piece. But
yes, but she tends to do this where you feel like somebody in the book is really small and they end up having like a character build out of it.
You know who I want a book about? Neota.
Oh, really?
Yes. I would love
Her book would be spicy. That would be the whole book would just be spice. She would be like...
Allie, I think, is leaning more towards that.
I know, she is. But she's got to finish Mate first because I've got to read Mate. Like,
there's another... So she's had 5 books come out in a year. So she has...
I know, but I
Mate
think she had like a shit ton of books already written. And then all of a sudden she was like,
I think she also just she just writes really quickly. But she has Mate coming out. There is a Hot for Slayer is coming out.
I think I saw that and
Amazon
I was excited.
original thing. Then there's another book that she's wrote, which was part of the Kickstarter. It's too expensive. I can't buy it, but but that was a thing. And then they just announced another Amazon original audiobook that she's coming out with.
Oh, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, so it's going to be on Audible at the end of this year, and I'm just like, how does this woman do it? Because she's also like a professor. She's constantly touring and talking about her books.
Professors don't fucking do shit. Those bastards, their TAs do all the work. When do they ever actually do anything?
Oh,
she's probably sitting in the class literally typing up a book while her TA is doing all the work.
She's like, hang on, I got this smut scene to write. I'll talk to you about neuroscience in a little bit. But yeah, no, she's an insane pace. Like, I was just thinking, granted, again, this is my first book and it's a fantasy book, so it's like a massive thing.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
Like, it took me 3 months to write the first draft, and then I picked it up a month later, and I have been working on it for almost an entire year now. Like, I'm like 3 months away from working on it for a year.
You have, but the thing is, though, is the editing process and the adding in all of the things that you want, and then how is the characters growing. Like, as you work on the project, you're like seeing where you want things to go.
Yeah.
Where like her books are really quick. Like, even to read, they're really quick.
Well, they're shorter books too. They're not like, massive 400 page books.
If you were to downsize your book to like, 200 pages.
Yeah,
sure.
Well, and I think, not to say that contemporary romances are easier to write than fantasy, because I think they all have their challenges no matter what genre you're writing in. Yeah. But I'm also working on a contemporary romance on the side. And that one, like, I can pop out a chapter in that a lot faster than I can because in my fantasy book, because you don't have to like have such an in-depth world that you're building. Your readers know about the world. So I would imagine Bride was probably a little bit harder for her to write than probably the other ones. Granted, I don't know again about her writing process, but with it being like that paranormal world you had to set up, probably took a little bit more time than like, it's a world I understand and the reader doesn't have to learn about. So
yes. Well, on topic of Katie's book, I was going to ask you, in the process of while you're like editing and doing all the things, because you said you did take a month off. Mm-hmm. Why don't you explain to people why you take a month off?
Yeah. So I've gotten most of my advice through writing on TikTok or just like looking up kind of the process, because I wrote for a lot of my life randomly. Like I've been noticing when I dig through my house to find stuff, I'll find a notebook from when I'm in high school. And I'm like, when did I write this? Like, because it's hard when I just started picking up writing like almost a year ago again. And so I wrote a full book. But you take time off. Some people will do like a couple weeks. Some people will do 6 months. Like it just depends. But it allows you to get away from the story and then come back with it with fresh eyes. So when I came back to the book and I read it through again, I was like, I don't even remember this scene that I wrote. So it's kind of a cool process. I'm excited for when I go back to draft 2 to experience it again, because there's so much that's changed in it since draft 1 to draft 2. And I'm excited for like my mom's my alpha reader. So she read draft 1. Most people don't let anybody read draft 1, but I wanted someone to have eyes on it, and I knew my mom would give me good advice. And so I'm excited for her to beta read draft 2 and give me advice on that and just see the changes that she has. So I'm excited for that. And I'm getting so close to getting down to the end.
It's making her nervous.
It's just taking so long, but it's good. I wrote like 3 chapters in the last 2 days. So
it doesn't help that we're podcasting consistently either. So poor Katie's got
constantly
her
editing
hands
videos
and everything. Star's traveling and Katie's trying to write a book.
You're like, I'm doing something. I'm like, I'm writing a book. I'm like editing our podcast. No, it's good. This is the stuff that I like doing. I'm more of a homebody anyways. I like to be home. So coming into my office and just getting to like laugh at our jokes is not too bad.
No, which is great. And I think the book is probably coming along wonderfully. And yes, I promise I will get further into it.
Like I said, I just, once I'm done with it and I give my beta readers the deadline, that's all I care about. I don't care right now.
I think if you gave me a deadline, I think I'm very strict with deadlines. I think that's one of the things that I love about Allie Hazelwood's books is that like her characters are probably more like what I think of myself as, like a very like strict, stringent, like there's some things that I'm like, I don't understand. Like, I would never do that. Like, I guess it's now that I'm like 40 and I'm like, oh, I get it. But in my 20s, I don't think I ever really like was like thought about myself the way that like some of these people do.
No.
But I mean,
I think freaking tying it to deep end again. when we look at characters that we most relate to, Scarlett I heavily relate to, and that's the main reason Deep End's my favorite. Yeah, the smut's great, but
oh yeah,
the Scarlett is such a close version to me in a lot of ways, and how she deals with things that I just felt very seen when I read that book.
I think that's how I felt about Not in Love. She was very much me. Like, I do not like the feeling of being out of control. I do not like having feelings for other people. That really fucking bothers me. Having feelings for you means that I have to care for you. I don't know why. It bothers me. Actually, I think you sent me something that was like, I didn't realize how much I hated people until I started working healthcare or something. And then I fucking died inside because I genuinely am a caretaker. That is the thing I throw out in the world. I fucking hate taking care of people.
It's hard.
I don't like fucking caring about you. And you want to know why? Because I need to fucking control the situation. And I can't control the situation. I have to be like, you're doing a good job.
Keep doing that.
Just like, I've learned this about myself, but I can tell you. But that's why I feel like this one worked for me. Because her like hookups, I just felt like that was me. 28 and I was just like in the bar like, hey, what are you doing?
Let's
liked
go
about real quick.
Let's
go in the car real quick is my
go in the car.
Actual
freaking
thought.
Car sex.
I think the reason why car sex is a big thing for me in this book, I know why we didn't go anywhere. I remember now. I was just trying to fucking hook up with him. He was actually a coworker. I was just trying to fucking hook up. I was just like, I just need to get the fuck off. And you are perfect and hot and blonde hair, blue eyed. So it was just like, get in the fucking car. Like, I gotta do this quick, motherfucker. Oh my God. Yeah, no, I think about it now. I'm like, that's what it was. But because that's like what happens when you go to the bar. Like, they went to a hotel. She was a lot more fucking thought about it more than I did. Yeah. But we were already at the bar. Like, I'm just gonna be like, my car's out back. Like,
hotels are expensive too.
It's not even the expense though. We did fine financially. I'm telling you, it genuinely was. I don't want to go somewhere with you. Do never take a stranger to a different location. Like, it was just the car's out back, buddy. Like,
that was one of Rue's things. There's no second location.
Yeah, no, 100%. No second locations. I am already at the bar. My car's out back. The bartender already knows Starr. Like, lock the back door. Like, the bathroom works the same. I don't know. I don't like bathroom sex either.
I think
God, stop talking, Starr.
For me, you're fine. For me, what I related to Rue in a lot of ways for how she kind of had that anxiety for how she experiences the world, because I definitely feel that way. My problem is that I'm kind of the opposite of her. Instead of just staying silent, I'll just fucking talk.
I do the same thing. But and the more nervous I am, the more I jabber.
I know, me
the
too.
poor doctor's like, stop talking.
Except for, but I only really do that with people that I'm starting to kind of know or that are my friends. That I'll just, Whereas when I don't know somebody very well, unless they're actively engaging me in conversation, I will sit there and just stare at you.
Dude, my first interaction with Katie was a dark, secret story that I was just like, tell me more.
I don't remember that at all, because that was not a thing that happened.
You weren't directly talking to me. You were talking to somebody else. But everybody's experience with Katie is like, I'm a good girl. Please just talk to me.
I don't remember saying anything like that.
Okay, I'm with Katie. She's talking to somebody. I'm on the other side. Like, we're in the conversation, but I'm not like in the conversation. She's like talking to somebody, and I'm like the third wheel. And I was fully like, holy fuck, Katie's amazing. I'm gonna love this fucking person. Like, it isn't cool. And sure enough, as soon as I cracked that shell, I was like, yep. Katie and I are best friends. That's the person right there. Holy shit. But everybody's like, Katie's such a good person. She doesn't cuss. Starr, you broke her.
I know. I'm like, okay, my cursing did get a bit worse, but it's not your fault. It's definitely with the people I was living with at the time, which is my dad and my sister. I'm calling you out. Mainly my sister.
Gonna be watching and be like, I don't cuss.
No, my sister and I became adults, and then it was just automatically like, yeah, I don't need to not worry about swearing. So then my sister I think my sister was the catalyst to this, and it was COVID. So COVID, my family, and then I started dating
She
my
broke
husband.
down before COVID. I got the whole juicy story.
I
before
started dating
COVID.
my husband around during COVID as well, and he swears way worse than anybody I've ever met. So I'm surrounded by it all the time. No, I have this like good girl persona that I've kind of always lived with, and yes, I have been the most massive rule follower my like whole fucking life, and. Like I think I told you the story when I was in elementary school that I told on my own friends that were passing notes across me in the middle of my teacher talking. I walked up and handed the note to my teacher and pointed at them and said, "They are passing notes."
Katie,
Like,
you're a good girl, but nobody's gonna be your friend.
No, everyone I went to elementary school with, thank you for not bullying me, because how did you not bully me?
Every time she tells a story, I'm like, Katie, I would have chipped you.
Maybe
you're walking to the teacher. I would have been. We wouldn't have been friends. I would have been like, how fucking dare you?
I also might have just been so fucking oblivious that people were bullying me, and I was just like, everything's great, and I just have friends. Like 100%, somebody probably was bullying me and I just didn't notice. So I guess like thank you for not being so harsh that I didn't notice. I don't know. But that's always been my persona. I've always followed rules. Granted, I chilled out quite a bit. But I've always like the rules matter to me. They still matter to me. If my husband does something that I'm just like, oh, I don't think you're supposed to do that. And he's like, it's like no one notices and it's literally not a big deal. This is not a real
Who's
rule.
gonna know?
Well, it's like the I think sometimes it's like the when your parents would tell you don't turn on the lights in the car at night because you'll get pulled over, which is not a real rule.
Dad told my son that recently.
Which is not a real rule, but it like scares you enough that you're like, I don't want to get my parents pulled over. But there's just like little things like that that in my life that
if
just
the car is lit up.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking liars.
But I literally that's just like in my some of the things that I'm like, oh no, this is a rule we have to follow. It's like not a real rule. It's just like what it feels like it should be. But again, I have that like persona that people like view me through, and I guess it means that I'm doing an okay job acting like a professional when I'm around people. But people are gonna watch these podcasts or listen to them and be like, what happened to her?
Star's what happened to her.
Starr broke me.
So back to freaking the funny part about this book. As she's talking, I'm laughing because that's kind of what happens when we meet Rue again in the second book that Allie writes. She becomes like who Katie becomes. Like it's like she like some. It's like she finally gets set free. It's almost like you don't have.
I think
to be,
Rue's so comfortable with the people she's surrounded with at that point.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I really love when we meet Rue in Problematic Summer Romance is that Rue is like. She's totally me, and that once I can engage really well in a social situation, I am dead to the world for about 2 days afterwards. I need to recharge my social battery. I cannot handle constantly being around people. I just need to be alone by myself in my house. Like I just need that quiet
people,
time.
But I am the same way.
Yeah, I just
it shocks the shit out of people. They're
time.
like, you're a liar, and I'm like, no.
I think you just don't get that time enough is the problem. But I have to have that time, and so Rue just like spending all like watching everything going on and just being like, no, I'm out. Like I'm done. Yeah. And like Eli being like, Rue needs to go like not be around all these people, and everyone else being like, Rue needs to not be around these people. Like I just think it's cool that Rue found a group of people that recognize it in her so well and are like, yeah, do whatever you need to do, man. Like that is fine. But I 100% like relate to Rue and all of that. And I guess just the way she is with social situations. I wish I had the same anxiety level she had. I still do, but I wish I had the confidence that she has in herself to just be like, whatever, I don't need to be a part of this, and just exits. Where I'll just sit there and flounder forever. She'll just sit there and she just walks in and she's like, I'm not doing this, and leaves. Like that's what I
don't think I
Rue.
have that either though. But I've also learned like I don't know if it's a learned experience or if it's like an actual personality experience where I have to be on.
Yeah,
like, it's like the light is on. I have to be on. People do not realize how dimmed my light has gotten in the last 20 years. But I'm definitely, I feel like I'm always on. I feel like it never turns off, which is maybe what you mean by the whole I need to like. But that's just like, I don't know if it's a learned response or what. But like, I would love, like, there's times where I'm like, I fucking want to go take a nap. Like, why the fuck am I still talking to you? I want to go home and sleep. Like, but I have found recently that I've been more and more like disengaging.
Mm-hmm.
Like even we travel a lot, and I've even found that like even in my travels, I'll go fucking like find somewhere to be like,
You're like, I'm going to a quiet spot. Leave me alone.
like literally lock myself in the fucking rent a car and be like, fuck off.
That's so like I love vacations, but I think that's probably why I still go to the same place over and over again is because I don't have to think about it and it's way less stressful for me.
Yeah, they say that's an anxiety trigger right there.
Whereas like if I have to go to an unknown place where I don't know what's going on, that's why I go to Disneyland so often is because I know what's at Disneyland. I understand how the system works. I know what I like there. I know if things are too long, I don't have to wait in line because I'll come back. Like it's all so much less stressful than if I was trying to plan a trip to Europe or something. I would just about die.
I would fucking love it. I would be that like gets my heart pounding. Like
I'd love
probably
to go.
Like Star's got fucking social anxiety.
Heart
But she's over
palpitation.
here like, I gotta go. Let's do it. Yeah. The traveling thing started like in my in my later years. Like I became more like I have to go. It is an anxiety trigger though. Like I genuinely like the whole time I'm like.
Yeah.
I need to find Rue's self-confidence and be like, I'm fucking going to take a nap.
Seriously.
I'm done with you. I'm done with you. You're out. Let's go. I don't know. But if I had Eli, I probably would fucking be more confident. I'd be like, hey, let's go.
Eli is so down bad for Rue. Like just from the very beginning. And I love when a man is just like brooding and like just like constantly is just yearning the entire book. I also I don't remember if she does this with other ones of her books, but with this we have 2 POVs in it. But I thought it was interesting that Rue's POV is written in first person and Eli's is third person. I don't know if you noticed that, but it is.
I did not. I was sitting here trying to think. I'm like, did I notice that? She does not do it in Deep End. I know she doesn't do it.
Not in Problematic Summer Romance.
No, she
That's
doesn't
all
do that
Maya.
one.
I don't think Love Theoretically was not either. So I think this is the only one where it switches back and forth. Love Hypothesis was all third.
Love on the Brain? I feel like I did. Why am I not remembering that
You
one?
did. It's the one where they're at NASA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that one.
You
No,
read that one.
no.
No,
And, but I didn't recognize it in this one, so maybe.
maybe
did on
it
a
definitely,
different
or it might be all third person. But yeah, this one got first person and third person, which I thought was kind of interesting. That we don't like we're in Eli's head, but it's third person was kind of strange to me. Also, the way the audiobook was done was weird to me because the 2 leads would voice their characters throughout all of the book. So Rue in Eli chapters was speaking as Rue, but if Minami was talking in an Eli chapter, the Eli guy voiced it.
She does that in a lot of her books. Whoever rates her audio.
I guess I haven't read a lot of them. Well, I've done Love Hypothesis, which they just read. It was one girl until the epilogue, which was the extra POV, and then there was a Deep End is all one has multiple narrators, and Lucas, the guy who does Lucas, does all of the male voices. Problematic Summer Romance the same way. Love Theoretically I haven't listened to. Same with Love on the Brain or Bride, and then this one was the first time I saw them doing the switching, but only for your character, not for the other male voices. Yeah.
Maybe I'm like thinking of a different book. There's another one where they do that, where it's like,
yeah,
and when the female's reading, like, so they're in there, like, they were like, oh, and then she's repeating whatever he said. It's in her voice, but it's supposed to be him, so it sounds weird. It's like, and then he said, rah, 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 but it's in a female voice, and you're like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, that threw me off because I was like, wait, because Eli and her start talking, and I was like, wait, is this dual narration? And then he voices Minami, and I'm like, wait, what? It's like, why is he voicing Minami? I thought, and then I was like, oh, he's only doing Eli's voice, and then all of the voices in his chapter. I was like, that is so confusing to me, but I don't know.
Maybe it was just the way they recorded it. They were just like,
I don't know how that makes it easier or not, but I'm not in audiobooks. But I also felt like their proposal was so them. Like Eli said that because they'd been together for about a year, and they were up in Indiana fixing up her cabin that she had gotten. And this is all in the epilogue. They go for a walk, and then he bends down and to tie his shoe is how she views it. And then she's like, he's still tying his shoe, and she turns around, and he's like, we should get married. And then she's like, you're supposed to be on one knee. And he's like, I'm on one knee. And she's like, you're supposed to have a ring. And he's like, fine. So he like pulls out the ring, and she's like, when did you get that? And he's like, about a year, or about 11 months and 3 weeks ago. And she's like, you're insane. So like a week into knowing each other.
100% get it though. Like I told you, men know.
So yeah, I just thought that was very Rue and Eli. Like he's like, I planned all this out, and she's just like kind of fighting him the whole way through it, and it was very, very them. So yeah, if we're gonna rate books,
yes,
like we kind of started,
totally
we're gonna start doing that. I when I read Not in Love, it was my second Allie Hazelwood, I rated it 4 stars. However, now that I've done the audiobook, I would give it 5.
Yes, I would give it 5. 100%. 100%.
100% give it 5 stars.
But this one was not triggering for me, which sometimes I read books and I'm like, this is really triggering, Katie. Oh my God.
Yeah, this
one actually brought back really fun memories. So yeah, I would definitely give this one 5 just because the fun ass memories and remembering on podcasts why we were in the back of the car. But I did remember the cop coming to the window and being like, fuck. I was like, I got to tell Katie this, but I'm going to wait for the podcast because it will ruin it and she won't laugh as hard. If she doesn't fucking know the story like preemptively, because sometimes Katie and I talk too much and then I'm like, oh my God, Katie, this happened. This time I was like, I'm going to hold this story and fuck with her. No, it really did happen though. I'm just going to tell you. I'm sure if he's out there and he ever watches my podcast, he will admit to it. It happened. We were very embarrassed. But I have had plenty of car sex. That was the first time I've ever been pulled over. Well, not pulled over, knocked on the window. But yeah. I would give it 5 just for the fun fucking memories.
5 for
just
the fun memories.
Like, there was fun. It was a good read. It was easy. It was a quick. I think I did this one in like a couple hours.
It was I read it on 2 times speed in a day to get it to cover on the podcast.
It was super fast.
It was so fast, and I was kind of like, man, I need to go back and read this slower.
You were like, it was too fast. I gotta
it
come
was
back to it.
It was so fun, and I don't know. But Allie Hazelwood she cannot do any wrong for me other than Bride. I have a little thing with Bride.
I fucking loved Bride. When we discuss this, I will tell you why I loved it.
Yeah, but I pick up an Allie Hazelwood and I know it's going to be good. Like, same with Elsie Silver. Like, there's certain authors that you just like pick it up and you're like, I'm in for a good time.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, this is another one of them.
Definitely read.
So yeah, so that is our coverage of Not in Love. If you are listening to us on YouTube, I'm going to throw up a slide so you can follow us on social media. Subscribe to our podcast on Spotify. It'll all be in our link in bio on our social media. So
all right.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.